Hello everyone, I'm Greyshot117, and today I'm going over the Company for Road 3 replay system. Now I should say, as a caster of COH2 for many years, I kind of want to break it down from my perspective and compare it to COH2. The positives, the negatives, and everything in between. So, as a, awesome person as I am, I have managed to pull up, oh boy, and hopefully this won't be confusing, both Company for Road 3 and Company for Road 2 at the same time. Yeah, we're having them both up. So, if that way we can go back and forth. So, we got replays right down here in the menu. We're going to click on that, and we're going to go into this overview, this list. So, in this list, it goes over essentially games recent and saved, and I do like how it shows like the display of this, right? The essential replay, all the stats and information you need about it. That's really nice to have all that. I also like the fact it tells you the type, multiplayer auto match. That's a good way for me to decipher if someone submits a replay that has been altered or modded in some way, shape, or form. The type, the date, all that stuff is really good. The map, of course, and again, the picture. I'm not the biggest fan of the picture itself because I feel like, I don't know, it feels like it's just like, oh, here is a picture of it. I wish it had maybe a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more to it. I don't know if it needs the stars or what, but I feel like that would help really make these pop a bit more, but that's just me. So to kind of give you an example, let's go over to one other thing, the outdated feature. It is nice to show like, hey, this stuff is outdated, where in COH2, I could have replays that maybe could work in some regard through some tuning, but then it would show in the replay it's outdated. Here, I like that it's a warning like, hey, this is not going to work. It's on a previous patch. That's some really nice stuff. So let's jump over to, and yeah, being able to click on everything, that's pretty nice, because when I go to COH2, it's like, oh, cool, there's hugs. I can't click on him. Again, we go over this. You have the replay feature that goes over essentially everything. Again, multiplayer, all that stuff. Again, I've had people submitted in-game stuff, so it just says multiplayer, so I can't really tell the difference. The date stuff, maybe it's just me, but it's always been a little bit confusing for a lot of this stuff, as shown here, because I believe it takes it from wherever that player is playing from, so it's a little bit more jumbled. So when I try to organize stuff, it can be a little bit crazy. Again, shows the name, shows the info down here, but there's a lot of open space right here. But again, like I said, I like the pop more with the stars and everything like that. It just, for a lot of these maps, it just makes it, a little bit more dynamic compared to COH3. But again, I do like the feature in COH3 as well. You click on this stuff. There's load, replay, delete the replay, etc. Where if we jump back to COH3, that stuff is down here, as well as the option to rename your replay. Whereas down here, not really the case. You can do it. Let me be very clear. You can go into the files and alter it that way. I'm just saying in the game, it is a nice addition. So overall, I would say COH3 definitely has the edge on COH2 in this front. Minus the standard here, I think it is a welcome improvement, and I really like the design of this replay system. Now, that's all good and all, but how good is the replay system itself? Let's jump into it. So we're going to... So jumping into the replay system, this is how it kind of looks. You have all 4 players, the map, and essentially the name of it, with little info tags at the bottom. Now, it might seem weird, but we're going to now load into COH2. And I'm just going to do, let's do a 4v4 as well. Again, please wait. I will say COH2, for me, I always had some issue with sometimes loading a replay, so it takes a bit longer. But I do like the musical thing. Again, we're still on the same screen. Not much has changed. Now, I am running them both, so that just keep that in mind. I do have a pretty good PC. Again, specs are in the details. But, yeah, to be fair, again, I think this one is a lot better in its loading screen design because each of the icons are more prominent. Especially with COH3, if they're really trying to emphasize the faceplates. I can see all the faceplates here. COH3, it's a little bit smaller. So COH2 has an edge there. I love the bullet loading. That's always like a nice little feature. That's just me. I love that little bit. Because like, come on, man, load a few more rounds. For me, ever loading a gun, I just suck. I have big thumbs. So it's just trying to load it in. It's always slow for me. Again, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. But still, I also like the very prominent of what everyone's picked. But again, I think this is the layout of COH2, especially with their commanders and bulletins. They've really emphasized, hey, this is what this player has. But I think this is better. So in my eyes, COH3 is a lot of wasted space in that department. So I would honestly give the edge to COH2 in this regard. I know it seems weird and like nitpicky, but still, this little bit does emphasize it. And I will say COH2 did take a little bit while to load. Again, you could say that it's simply because of the fact that COH2 is in a situation where it's has COH3 running in the background, and COH2 has never been the most optimized game. But let's get to the COH2 replay system. So at the bottom, you have essentially this little HUD, right? That essentially you can change the side, change the fog of war, which you can see on the left. You can change the taskbar to remove it, and then a follow camera. So if this player is going, right, I can see where the cameras are. So, you know, good features, right? Over here for COH2 as well, I can switch between the players. They're always down at the bottom, but I can switch between them, right? So it's a quick change so I can see what's going on. It would be too much if it was all four here. It would take too much of the screen. So again, I like this kind of optimized look at how everything's going. Plus you have this little space on the right, which when you click on a unit, it shows that info. So even though, let's say I'm on Strone, right, and I just click on him or go over here, I click on the infantry section, it shows me the infantry section as well as all this stuff, right? That's a really nice thing. So again, when the battle continues, it'll be, you know, big fight, goes up to 8 speed if we wanted to. Again, some really good stuff. Always going to showcase this stuff unless you remove the taskbar. Then we get a nice view of just the units, which you can zoom in on, get some great shots. So if I were to unpause it and let's say use this little button to make sure we follow it, then I remove the taskbar. Boom. There we go. We got a nice little cinematic angle, right? Some pretty damn cool stuff. So that's how I've been doing COH2 replays for years in a lot of that way. I would hide my myself here in the middle, so that way, of course, you couldn't see the time. You can't rewind, but again, that's the same thing in COH3. It's based on how they use replays in this, so it's understandable, right? It's like, I'll take what I can get. It does suck that you have to go like 40 minutes in. And again, right now, I haven't had replay crashes in as much as I did originally in COH2. COH2, I would do like a game for an hour and it would crash and be like, okay, well, there's a 10-minute window. I have to relaunch it and fast forward to it. But yeah, so again, a lot of good stuff here. And as well, when a commander is picked, the abilities, sorry, not the bulletins. The abilities are all showcased here with all the resources that player has, right? Nice condensed area. So that's a lot of pros for COH2. Again, the negatives for COH2 is that this is how it always is. There's not really a lot of customization to it. You're kind of stuck in this angle. So when in a 4v4, I get pieces, it's like, oh shoot, I missed this guy losing a unit or using an ability or something. So there is that issue there with that stuff, right? And then, again, there is also the dark secret of COH that everyone forgets about. So we're going to change over to the original replay system. This fucking thing. All right, I hate this. I hate this so much. This will lag your game still, this system, and then you change it to each of the players, and it will, like, switch between. It's meant to, I guess, give a perspective as if, you know, you're playing the game and it has it, but like if I click on here, it shows like all this in like big, which is nice. I'm not gonna deny, but I hate it. I hate this so much. I truly do. Because again, it's notorious for just causing crashing and issues, especially when you switch. If you're constantly switching between these, it, like, especially back in the day, it was known to like slow down the game tremendously. It's a little better now, but I still hate this view because again, it's just like that player's view, and then you switch between, and you have to manually click, right? Okay, so that's COH2, right, in both replay options. And again, there's TAC map and stuff, but I'm never gonna use the TAC map for a replay other than maybe a quick shot or something. I find that 1v1 guys will do it. That's great. For me, switching over, and let me pull it up. Switching over to this view is okay in some regard, but if I'm like playing the game and this, especially when a 4v4, it gets super chaotic. In 1v1, 2v2, it makes more sense, but for me, it just gets way too chaotic with everything going on. So, let's get over to COH3. So, COH3, this is the replay system. And we have some pros and some cons over COH2. So let's get to it. So first off, we have down here, again, we have the same sort of system in COH2 where you have this like operational mode at the bottom, right? So for one thing I forgot to mention for COH2. On the left-hand side right here, you have this show player stats. It's a quick button. You can see what every unit damage dealt, unit kills, etc., right? So again, if it's going on, I mentioned being like, oh, conscript. Half speed, sorry. Oh, there's a conscript going in. Oh, let me show, you know, the kills of that player or something like that. That's simple and easy, right? It's just a quick click. So let's go to COH3. COH3 has a lot of those same options as well. So the attack map, there we go. Again, I don't know. It is a little bit more prominent. And again, they did a lot of bonuses stuff to make it better. But it's still something where it's like, for me, I don't see much use in a replay for doing it, but that's just me. If another caster wants to do it, fantastic. By the way, I've not jumped over to the other casters. Like, again, I know Helping Hans did a replay. I know, of course, who am I thinking of? Oh, God, I'm going to forget his name. I'm assuming AE has probably done a replay of this. Zany Zap, there we go, and a number of other commentators that typically go and will do replays, right? So what was it, the Propaganda Cast? Oh God, am I thinking of them? Oh, or like, who am I thinking of? Or maybe it's them. Anyway, point is, you have other commentators that will use it. They may or may not have used it. I've not looked at them because I want my own opinion on this. Okay, again, it feature the attack map, so when things are, oops, sorry, I jumped the gun there. Things are playing, you can be like, oh, what's everyone doing? And you can see, oh, he chose this unit to go over here. So that stuff, again, is nice to be like, what's this guy thinking? You can see the specific moves those players are doing. Okay, nice. And again, Fog of War is open, so I can see everything. Which, in this screen, you can see, like, the chat, like, what everyone's saying as well on the bottom. Okay, cool, why not? Again, everyone's being positive, awesome. And if someone's being a little more negative, I can always block that. Okay, cool. So in COH2, it's on the top left. So essentially for COH2, it would be up here where my screen is, right? That's one of the reasons why I have like an emergency thing where I'll pop out if someone's being very disrespectful or something in the chat. So let's get to how it actually looks, because, yeah, it's very different for pros and cons. I have to cycle through a lot of these on each side, right? But it is condensed, and I do like that aspect where you can go through each of the cards and you see what everyone's picking and the strategies, right? And it also is condensed in the battle group, so when it unlocks, it'll fill up this whole bar, and again, it's still in this area where to see, oh, he has, you know, this is how many points he has to the next one. This guy hasn't picked a battle group. Oh, but he's gone Luftwaffe, and he's already unlocked the Falchion Pioneer, so most likely he's going to go in for a pair drop, right? So there's some good stuff right there. Plus, it shows population, resources, etc. Nice and condensed. That's really nice. Here's a potential issue, right? This goes to the issue I had with the COH2 older one, that they switched to the newer one, is then you're having to manually cycle through, especially when you get into 4v4 and 3v3 matches between everyone. But it also comes with one of the best bonuses to it. And I'm going to fast forward here for a second so we can see some of that, right? So we see battling going on. Scout unit died. Okay, cool. That was between blue and red. So we go to red and we go to blue, and we can see here that Elgrand has killed 3 units compared to red in this case. Again, Wolf Sylvante, who has killed 0. I love this feature because it's a great way to compare 2 players and see how they are doing, right? To see how they are stacking up against each other with kills and infantry. Just a quick thing, and I really do. It's a simple thing, but I like that additional feature, right? And there's plenty of space here that will honestly also show, like, let's say Solvante is producing a unit, it will show on the top right here what his actions are in base. Which, again, in a 1v1 perspective, this is awesome. This is a really awesome feature in my eyes. And again, I like the design of it too, because again, theoretically, if I was to like remove the bottom aspect, which you can remove it, and let's say I just like I have for COH3, let me pull up my COH3 casting one. If I move myself here, I have to adjust my camera, but essentially you would have like almost the entire screen filled up, right? And for the most part, I'm not blocking that much. I'm still here and I'm still presenting myself, you know, in a way to cast everything, showing my reaction to everything, but I'm not taking too much of the screen, and there's still so much that you can see like all the action going forth. So again, a lot of good stuff right there. But here's where we start running into some issues. Let me switch back to my other camera perspective so that way you guys can see the bottom, right? Okay, so theoretically, I can also switch between each of the players, right? So I can't, and yes, there is like a toggle command, so I can slow things down. Wait, hold on. Let me make sure. Slow things. Is it not? Oh, there we go. I accidentally mixed it around. Okay, so yeah, I can switch, slow things down. Wait, let me make sure it's something. Speed things up, slow things down. Oh, cool. Wanted to make sure. All right. So again, a lot of good stuff there, which shows the exact time. But this gets the most confusing aspect of this game for me. Now, in COH2, like I mentioned, let's go over to this Pioneer squad. When I click on the Pioneer, right, it shows the stuff on the bottom right. So when I am like, hey guys, and I have the extra info mod on, it doesn't impact the game. I'm not cheating when I have this on. It just shows you, hey, this is 23% accuracy when at vet 3, or, you know, increased repair rate by 63%. It's some really good info and stats, so I can communicate to the audience that's watching this. This is what it has, and because of how it's displayed, sure, it's not like the best, it's still taking more screen, but still, at least it's giving the people watching this additional information. When I go to COH3, that additional information is on the bottom. Okay, well, and you know what, it is kind of a blotch that it's over this, and I wish it was kind of more integrated into the system to where it wasn't just a, you know, how do I put this? You can see here it's just, I don't want to say PNG, but essentially it's like a square text of information, where in COH2, you can see here that it's there, it's over stuff, but it still has a really nice fade effect to it. So I don't know. I feel like they could maybe update that to make it a little better into the system. But when I click on this infantry unit, right? Oh, look, it has info and stuff like that, right? And it does it for all these, which is pretty good. So I can go through. But if I remove this aspect and I click it, I don't know. I wish there was a way to pop it up and then it remove, right? That's what I know it's like going above and beyond, right? But I would love it to where click on this unit, right? Or click on other units, and it would go through. That would be cool, so I could see everything without having to have always the screen on. So that way it's like just popping in and out. Just a small thing like that would really help, because I really like this feature and how much screen that you save in this. But again, I know that's me wishing. But still, overall, the fact I can go down here and I can see mostly everything, pretty good. Now, Grenadier base? Okay. No, we have the British base. Okay. Why is that? Well, if I want to see that Grenadier's base, I have to go to MSW and then switch it over. So I have to manually click on this player and then kind of go over to it, right? That's where things get kind of more like, okay, it's a little bit more weird. Where COH2, right, I just click on whatever player this is, and it's automatically switched over. So I click Alexis, it switches to Alexis. A little buggy sometimes, where I have to double, do it twice, but it should switch over to that player so I can see what's going on for the OKW stuff. Here, I click on it, right? Let's say I'm on MSW down here, and I hit play. I click on, D walls. I'm still on the Pioneer. I click on his 4x4, shows it for a quick sec, click on it, still here. Click on this. Oh, okay. It's still there. Again, there's something going on because you can see the bar and such. Like if I go up here, if I click on this paratrooper squad, you can see like this stuff here. So there's something happening, but when I click on all this stuff, it still says Germans. And that's not only for them, it's also for the dock. If I click on this dock motorcycle, it's not going to switch, right? So it shows potential upgrades, but it's not going to show anything else, which I find it a little bit of a mixed opportunity, right? Also, goddamn, El Grand Eagle just kicking ass and taking names. 19 kills. Man, okay. But again, that is a nitpick. That is a nitpick that hopefully they can fix. The other thing as well is the battle group system, right, on the bottom. So in this case, it's MSW's battle groups. These battle groups will take up the right-hand side, and we'll get to a point where they'll start interfering with the icons over here. So and that's also an issue because then when I try to click on units, usually it's the artillery pieces like the or like fortifications made. I'll try to click on it and the battle group will be in the way of it. It's not entirely like this system. Again, I also find this information is repeated from up here, right? So I don't necessarily understand that logic. Now again, you can like toggle between players. So if I wanted to quickly go through, right, you can do that. So you could be like, okay, let me quickly find me. Okay, there's me, and that's what I'm going through. Okay, so I can cycle between all this stuff. Fine, that can work, right? So you just need to make sure that you're on that stuff. But again, talking between players affects the bottom, it doesn't affect the top. So for the top, I have to manually select. Unless, again, if I'm forgetting something or if there's something that I don't know in the hotkeys, let me know, please. If I'm forgetting something, I want to make sure I'm giving the most accurate information possible. But this is what I was able to find in the system itself, was how to cycle between. So, again, nice. It is a good option, but I just wish that there was a quick, there was like a movement option or something here. Maybe you shorten this a little bit and then you add it to where it's like, maybe, let's see, I mean, like here or there, right? Or something where you just quickly cycle between the players. That would be really good up here. Again, because I kind of want to quickly cycle between this stuff. Add in a hotkey version to cycle between these ones as well. Again, remove this. Maybe add it so where when I click on a unit, it will pop up. And then when I click off it, it will remove, not just remove the info here, but remove this thing in general. Make that be an option. And then as well, this whole system where it's like, oh yeah, click on the American and it doesn't show up. Like, there's definitely flaws here and there's cons to it. But with how this is being shown, I do quite like it. I think there's a lot of good options here. And maybe, again, if you wanted to, I get why maybe it could be a little bit weird to throw the units up here. But if you did want to kind of open the left and right side a little bit more, you could maybe add the option to reposition them in smaller view. So that way you have all the units like in 3 rows here. And I know that might be a little bit weird, but that way I could quickly cycle between units so you can still see them like die without taking up more space on the left and right. Again, just options. I don't know necessarily if that would work, but it might allow some additional view. So, and again, I don't mind having 4 players here and you can only see 2. If there was an option, either hotkey or something to quickly switch between them. And I know you can say, well, Greyshot switch between the ones on the bottom when it's being played. That's sorry, wrong hotkey. That is very true. But I like the player stats over here because then why have so much information up here if it's again gonna be repeated? Kind of can keep it condensed, keep it concise, right? Because not like COH2, it's not like this information is being repeated elsewhere on the screen. So again, I think COH3 has a really good replay system, and I really like the comparison feature because it kind of does show like, hey, this is an awesome player, and right now he's doing better than a majority of the allies right now. Like, look at that. But this guy managed to kill something. I think this was a cat and crad, but still, you get the point. Yeah, again, there's definitely pros and cons, and I do like being able to showcase, hey, this is such an awesome player. And again, like here, you can see here this additional thing being built in the base. It's being showcased here. Really good stuff. I really do like that. But having a cycle option over here, removing repeated information, or making it available for when you click on a unit, it pops up, and when you click off the unit, this whole thing moves away. Maybe when on this mode or something. Like, I feel like that would be a really good key. So that way, again, you have, like, this one, which, again, I don't know why we're having this. Again, it's repeat information. Or you have that, and it can kind of cycle off. Again, that's me. That's my own personal opinion on what changes need to still be made for the COH3 replay system. But I do think it's a good addition. Oh, I'm sorry. There's one last thing. Live player stats. So while the game is going on, there is that, like, info screen. So let me hit play. I quickly go be like, oh yeah, this guy has 9 kills stuff. And I do like how it is, like, faded enough so you still see what's going on in the background. So it's not removing everything entirely. I do think that's quite nice. And again, just to give a little comparison, COH2, let's say going on a unit and going like, oh yeah, there's this awesome battle. Here, let me go to stats. And it's completely blocking it. So again, something's weirdly enough that COH3 does when they do introduce fading is this. And I think this is a good system as well. I pretty good without revealing too much information as like, hey, the match time is 44 minutes. No, it's just saying that's, again, it's 6:54. Cool. Live stats. Awesome. So what do you guys think? Again, right now, I think there is some definitely pros and cons to COH3, but I think there's definitely a lot more pros, and I like the stuff they've added to me. Oh, right. And of course, if I wanted to remove the background, I can, right? So there's definitely some good stuff here, and some, some stuff that's still be improved, but it's still more positive in my book than negative. But that's one man's humble take. What do you guys think? Leave your comments down below. Again, to kind of, hopefully I made it condensed and concise enough to you guys can see my issues with it. But again, I always want something to be better. So I'm hoping they can continue to improve it. Just like with COH2, it had a really shitty replay system that got better. This one's a good replay system that I think can be tweaked to make it even better, to make it great. But leave your comments down below. This has been Greyshot, and I'll see you all next time. Hello, everyone. This is Greyshot17, and before y'all go, let me give a special shout out to Patreon supporters Joey G240, Milam, Big Cooch, Aphyria, Ace, Pyro Shark, Tonybee 95, Epic Pleb. Thank you all for your incredible support and helping me grow my channel and support my channel and everything I do. Thank you, and to the rest of you, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.